it's going to be based on what you actually sell, like the products, your customers, getting them results, making sure that they're getting results. That's a big part of the business. But with network marketing, which is what we're a part of, the bulk of your income and where you're going to see the most growth in your business is actually through what your team is doing. And you might be saying, but Katie, I don't really have a team, or Katie, I have discount coaches. Sometimes the way that we're putting out the opportunity is maybe needing to be tweaked a little bit. So Megan and I are going to talk through some of that tonight. And we're going to talk about it, but I really want you to be sort of cognizant of where your numbers are. And I'm not going to presume that I know everybody's goals, but I will say that you want to get clear on it, no matter what that might be. If you're just saying, I really just want to help a couple people, you want to know the best way to do that. If you're saying that you want to be able to create a full-time income, you want to know how to be able to do that. And no matter what, residual income, if you really understood the power of it, you would move a brick wall to make it happen, especially as somebody who, has been through a lot and wasn't at times in her life able to just depend on the direct commissions of what I was selling. So residual income is what we're going to start talking a little bit more boldly about, and understanding that it's going to take work, but it might also take a little shift in how we're talking about the opportunity. All right. So Megan, if you actually want to share the slides, do I have to make you a host? I don't know how to do that.
No, I think I can share. It just currently says you're editing it.
Oh, how do I get rid of it?
I mean, if you just have it open on your I think I can just do it. It's up. I have it up. It just says like your.
Yeah, I have it closed out. See if you can do it now. Oh, cool. All right. So let's kind of jump right in.
Sorry, I have
because we do have a lot to cover tonight, if that's cool with you guys. So first, let's do some shout outs. First of all, the KB, you guys are doing an amazing job. This is the second week in a row. We've had some big numbers in terms of recruitment. This week, we brought 24 coaches into the organization. One Fit Fam with 17. Huge shout out to Kate Lepley. And I know that these numbers have actually gone up since Thursday. I think both of us pull numbers Thursday. So these are the boards that you see. If you're new to the call, what you're seeing and what you're looking at here is called top producers in terms of volume. Volume refers to any of the personal orders somebody has put in, as well as any of the customers that that have placed orders. Success Club points refer to challenge pack sales or completion pack sales. Morning Meltdown launched. Usually completion packs, challenge packs count for 2 points. And so as you can see, that means that these people have helped 8 or 6 or 5 new clients get started on their health and fitness journey. And a huge shout out to the people as well who are also starting the journey of helping people. So remember that every point that you see on the board is somebody. Is a person, and it is somebody who is invested in wanting to see a change or a transformation in some way. And we have that solution for them. So huge shout out. A couple other things just to mention real quick. Every coach on this call received at least 3 promo codes. The promo codes allow you to give $10 off for any challenge pack purchase at the price of $140 or above. So if it was a completion pack for $130, they cannot use the promo code. What's amazing about this too is that as a coach, you still are going to receive the same volume points for it as well, especially if you're building a team. You'll see volume underneath you. That isn't going to change even though they're receiving that promo code price. So my challenge for you is that I want for each one of you, yes, you have to be listed as an active coach, meaning you have above 50 PV in terms of your own orders or your own customer orders. So my challenge for you is get rid of the promo codes. For me, I get weirdly competitive with myself. So what I did is I actually wrote down every single promo code that I got. And then I put the name of every person that I was talking to about Morning Meltdown. And I messaged every single one of them and I said, hey, I put a $10 promo code aside for you, but it's going to expire in 24 hours. Am I giving this to you or what? And so I was pretty bold about it. And I said, you know, like, this is what I have to give you. Are you going to use it or are you not? You know, just shit or get off the pot. And I, excuse my language, but like sometimes you got to tell people like, listen, this is going to expire. So what's it going to be? So I did that and I sold challenge packs that day. I think in that day I sold about, I think about 15 challenge packs. So I got rid of all my promo codes and then I stole my husband's promo codes and I used his too. So sometimes like I just feel like if we go at it and we're kind of like hokey pokey, like, are you sure you want to use this? I can give you $10 more. I can do this. And we're really gentle about it. That kind of works in our, like, to our disadvantage. But if we're really bold and we're like, I'm going to give this to you, but if you don't use it in 24 hours, I'm taking it back from you. So if you're in that position where you're like, all right, people aren't purchasing, take that promo code away from that. Just say, I got to give this to someone who's ready to commit. And if you're like, well, I didn't give them a time limit, give it to them now. So use those promo codes. Challenge yourself to get rid of every single one that you have. If you have yours, you have 3. If you have multiple business centers, you have 3 per business center. If you have a spouse, he has 3. If you have grandma, she has 3. If you have active coaches who are not using their promo codes, you got to take those bad boys and you got to write them down and you got to challenge yourself to get rid of the promo codes. Make it a game with yourself. Let yourself go get a pedicure if you get rid of all your promo codes because you just did your job. So just kind of clever way to get rid of it. And Megan, you told me one more announcement we had and I totally forget what it is. It's my brain.
I'm not sure. But on the promo code, that was my follow-up. So I had already, like before I had the promo codes, I had already done like I'd sent a whole bunch of cards. And a lot of my people actually enrolled as coaches on the first. So a lot of my customers that when the program launched last week, a lot of those customers were base kit orders or digital unlocks. So I used that promo code as a follow-up to say, I know that you initially told me you wanted to do the accessories bundle. You know, if it's $70, if you want to upgrade that to a challenge pack, it's going to give you, you know, blah, 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 and I can give you $10 off. So it won't work on a completion pack, like Katie said, but if you, like, if it's someone who's done performance line before, they could do like that Shakeology and performance pack one. And it was just is another way to follow up. Also, I did it today for a coach follow-up. So I went through and like reached out to everyone who I've been talking to about coaching and said the same thing. Like I was just given 3 promo codes to give to my next 3 new coaches. I put one aside for you. Just let me know by the end of the day tomorrow if you want it or not. So I put the time frame limit on it, but I used it not necessarily for Morning Meltdown 100 people, but for coaches. And I even said in the email, I mean, I could pull it up. I said something like with the new Morning Meltdown 100 program launch, this is the perfect time to get started and I can give you this $10 off code or something like that. So if you've already feel like you've already tried once, go back and try again. Like use it as a follow-up, go back to coaches, go back to people. Maybe they aren't Morning Meltdown. Maybe they're people from like April who told you that they wanted to join a challenge group and didn't. Follow up with them anyways and let them know. Because some people, that $10 is going to be their deal breaker.
Yeah. They like want it. I know I like deals. I like coupons. Totally. I don't shop a lot of places without coupons. So that's a fact about me. Like Yankee Candle, you'll never see me in that store if I don't have a coupon. So, anyways, Okay, so I'm excited about doing this call because I'm going to make everyone like, I want you to know I'm saying everything I'm saying out of love, but I'm also saying it from the standpoint of you're here to make some money. And even though you want to make some money, like you can be kind and wonderful, but you can still really want to make an income doing this. So we have to do a little bit of a self-assessment right now. And the very first question, and I want you guys to take some notes for yourself and remind yourself of this after the call. So the very first question I want you to like really answer and get real with yourself when it comes to recruitment is, where are you on a scale of about 1 to 4? I am a strong and consistent recruiter. So that's kind of like sounding like an affirmation statement, but at the same time, how true is it right now at this moment? So I've never recruited a coach. I'm inconsistent, and haven't found my tribe yet. I add a few coaches every month and they are close to my dream team, or I add 5 coaches every single month. Where do you fall right now? Not like a few months ago, or maybe you were on fire last year after Summit and not so much anymore. You don't have to tell, you can, but you don't have to. But this is like really for you. But Michelle, I'm glad, because like I was like calling your group out, I was going to be all about it. But really say like, where is it? And if you're saying like, okay, I haven't found my tribe, I'm inconsistent, I want you to really think about that for a little bit. Like, what is it that is causing you to be inconsistent? And go ahead and slide that over to the next one. All right. So now that we have that number, I really want you to take a minute to ask yourself what is actually holding you back. Because if I had to assume, and based on sort of my experience and where our numbers are as a total, like as an organization, I would say that most people fall around the 2, maybe the 3. But it's very rare for people to say like, I am bringing in 5 coaches a month. So let's talk about that for a couple minutes. Like, what is actually holding you back? Is it that you don't believe in the coaching opportunity? You don't believe in yourself. You don't know exactly what to say or who you want to attract, or you're just not taking enough action. So where do you feel like you fall on this? Like, do you strongly agree with all 4, or are you feeling like maybe 1 or 2 of them? So where kind of are you falling? 2, 3, 4. Okay, so somewhere in that area. So just really thinking about what is actually holding you back from recruiting. And Megan, you can actually change it to the next slide. And I'm not saying this to make you go, oh, I kind of like stink at this, but it's because I want you to think about that word recruitment. So now that we've gone over that and you've kind of put in your brain where your numbers are, I want you to write down one word. Just write it down. Don't put it in the chat, but write down one word that makes you think of, when you hear the word recruitment. So what do you think of when you hear the word recruitment? And so once you look at that word, how many of you would actually say that word is positive? And how many of you would say it's negative? So just kind of like by show of hands, and I can't really see Megan because I don't have the screen open, but even if you want to put in the chat bar, is your word more positive or is it more negative? And I'm going to be honest with you. If your word is more negative, there is probably a little bit of a block between why you can't recruit and where you currently are. Like, what is tripping you up a little bit has to do with this, because of what you are telling yourself about the word recruitment, okay? So I'm just going to give you a perspective for a minute before we dive into maybe making more of a positive with this word. I was never invited to coaching. I was never invited. My name is Katie Ersta. I am a Legacy Club member. I am a 10-star. I'm a fourth-time elite coach. I was never invited to the coaching opportunity. I watched my coach and I didn't understand it. I thought that if I signed up as a coach, I could get a free t-shirt. When I started to understand the income potential with the business. So it became, I want to start getting my groceries paid for. And then it became, okay, it would be cool to get a maternity leave. Okay, it would be cool to be able to leave my full-time job. So when I started as a coach, I had no understanding of what the business could do for me. But what I did see was a coach who was sharing that there was an opportunity. So the very first thing I want you to understand is recruitment is sharing. Recruitment, first and foremost, before the conversations even happen, people have got to know that you are open for business. They have to know that there is somebody who could potentially help them change their entire life. So when I think about my life, and I think about like the idea that Melanie, my coach, never really recruited me, but she actually was showing it to me. She created a recruitment mindset. She showed me that recruitment was open, even though she never actively did it for me. But I would have never thought to reach out for the free t-shirt if she never shared what she was doing. Does that make sense? So how many of you can honestly say that people know that you're even open for business in terms of growing a team? Maybe they see you with your shake. Maybe they see you talk about their challenge groups. But how many of you think, if you look at your scroll, and by scroll, I mean like top 9. Like if you're looking at your grid, like 1 out of 9 of those posts have to be like, she's open for business, she mentors people, she helps people. Are like 1 out of 9 of them at least about coaching. At least 1 in 9. And I would say even more, about 3 of the 9 should be about coaching. And I'll be honest, I'll call myself out just because it's been a little bit different, and Summit kind of changed that a little bit. But before that, it should be at least 3 of 9. How many of you are like, oh yeah, I totally am nailing it. I totally got it, right? And if you're nailing it, you're probably seeing numbers that other people aren't quite seeing. And a big part of that is probably because people don't know that you're open for business. So let's go ahead and change to the next slide, Megan. All right.
Wait, before you go on that, just to reiterate everything you said, I was the exact same way as Katie. My coach did not invite me. I reached out to her for a challenge group because she so proudly shared every wonderful aspect about her challenge groups. I reached out to her about coaching because she so proudly shared every aspect about how her fitness and her happiness and everything was tied back to this little thing called Beachbody. So I was beyond curious, just like Katie, and I was like, well, this sounds like something I could do because, I mean, I'm no different than her, and I went for it. So I promise you there are people out there who are watching your page or other people's pages and looking for that, and if you're not doing it, somebody else will be, and they're going to see it there. So it's really, like, I have to remind myself of that all the time too, that when you feel like you're saying the same thing over and over again, that somebody else is seeing it and they need to see it again and again, or someone new seeing it this time. And that one person could be that Megan or Katie who was like, oh, let's chase curiosity for a second, and then goes on to build a killer business under you.
And I guess I should add this too. I followed 2 people who were talking about coaching, and I never really connected the dots or understood how it worked. They were both my sorority sisters. My coach shared coaching and the business and challenge groups and all of the things consistently. The girl that had originally introduced me to it did not. So when it came to signing up as a coach, I went with Melanie. And even though like I had the choice, I also understood that there was a little bit of a business opportunity with this, and I wanted to be mentored by someone who I knew was in it. So I think there's that other piece of it. If you aren't showing up consistently, but you're like sharing a little bit about what you're doing, or you're talking about Beachbody, but you're not consistent in showing up, they're Googling it and they're finding people who are consistent. So you have to kind of remember, like, there is a piece of this puzzle that goes back to confidence and mindset and how you actually think about the word recruitment. So if your mindset right now on is recruitment is, I'm guessing some of the words are like hard, job, work, struggle, like those kind of words. Now it's time to flip the switch and make it a positive, because you're looking at recruiting as an opportunity to not just change your financial situation, but also the financial situation of other people that you onboard. All right. So let's start talking about it. Let's just start having the conversation about it. So we need to start having a conversation about what coaching has done for you unapologetically and relentlessly. And then if you feel like, well, I just started, I'm not there yet, you know that there are people in your direct organization who have shared. And so coaching doesn't have to just be about the financial wins. There are other pieces of coaching that you can share. And Megan has some examples, but tonight, and if you want to go to the next slide, this is one thing that I am actually going to challenge you to do. And I have to find it in mine. Well, I remember it was about a year ago, I was really like frustrated. I was having like a bad month and nobody wanted to join my team. And then my mindset was all like pooping. And I was like, all right, Katie, you got to get real with yourself, right? Because you can get really, really focused on what isn't working and you can totally forget about what is. So I got out this sheet of paper, and if you guys know me, like this little journal is like everything to me. Like this is my gratitude journal. This is like my writing. This is everything. So this is a very, very important piece of paper to me. But I wrote down all of the blessings of my business. And I find that when I am focused on gratitude, talking about the business is easy. When I think about the struggles that I am having, talking about the business sucks. So just realistic is, how are we sharing the business? First thing I want you to focus on is 4 areas of the business that you can actually talk about. Now, later, whenever, it doesn't matter. These are the 4 areas that I have found coaches are receiving the most feedback about their content that they're putting out. You can talk about physical transformation. You can talk about emotional transformation, and that could be community, that could be tribe. You can start talking about financial transformation. And to this day, the posts that people react the most to are not the posts about where I am now. It is the post about being the girl who got the groceries paid for. And also your vision of where you are wanting to go. When you're clear and bold about where you want to go in the business, people see that and they want to see that you're doing it. And when you actually start working towards that and people are seeing those moves, people want to do that. People want to join you. So when you're bold and you're sharing your vision with people, it puts, number 1, skin in the game. And number 2, it lets people know that you're in it for the long haul. That you're a coach that's not only going to mentor well, but you're going to do this alongside of them. People don't want to go at this alone. They want to be like, she's going to help me do this because I see that she's doing this too. So even if you're not where you want to go, start thinking about ways to share where you are going. Katie Tamulonis is going to kill me because I'm like sharing her example like right now because it's on my mind, right? So Katie's husband is deployed right now, and I'm not going to say what it is, but Katie's husband is deployed. So while we were at Summit, we started talking about goal setting, right? And we started talking about what she wanted to do. And even though we were talking rank and everything, that did not matter until we started to talk about the tangible vision of where she really wanted to go when he returned from deployment. And then we built up the vision of what she would be able to do and how to get her kids involved and how much it would cost, that we were actually able to then break down that goal. So then when she has this vision, right, of where she wants to go, and it doesn't necessarily have to be connected to rank, but she has a vision, right, of where she wants to go, dude, start sharing that, because people are going to be like, I want to see her do it. And then they're going to be like, well, if she can do it, wouldn't it be cool if I could do something like that? And you just start to see this snowball effect of putting your words not just into action, but people actually seeing your words become action. And when your words become action, they're like, I'm on board with this. Like, I want to be able to do this. So we need to like kind of say, okay, I feel like I'm just so far from where I want to be that I don't even know what to do to get there, right? And we need to say, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to take one step and I'm going to put one foot in front of the other, and then I'm just going to know that I can be one step closer to where I want to go. And then when you have that excitement about it and you're like, I'm really pumped about where we're going, I'm going to figure this out along the way. And I see Scott Garthwaite back there is probably like, oh my God, tell her to shut up. But I'm like so excited about where you guys can go. But it starts with sharing that you want to go somewhere. that you're not just stuck in the mud. So you're sharing the process of getting where you want to go. If you're just starting your transformation journey, start documenting it. If you're just starting to see the benefits of being a part of a positive community, because I'm telling you right now, more people need to be part of positive communities because people are really negative. And if you work in any type of work environment, if you've been around it at all, in the water cooler and all of that stuff, people need what you have. And so it's a gift to give other people. And then even the little financial wins, anything like that. Even if you've experienced a coach or somebody in your tribe that had a great week, dude, that is a great way to share. And then sharing where you're going and the type of person you want to onboard, the type of person you want to be. But all of this starts by getting out a piece of paper and actually writing out what you're grateful for. I am not kidding you, because you're looking at probably 100 posts right here, like right here in this paper. So once you do that, if you're having a day where you're off, you can go back to this and be like, I can pull this, and it's a tagline for a post. Go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so your assignment tonight then is to actually start creating your web of what you can talk about with coaching, because this is what is going to make you relatable to other people. So you can talk about your start. Maybe you came on as somebody who wanted to lose weight. Maybe you came on because you were watching someone. Maybe you wanted a free t-shirt. What are some of the things you're experiencing right now as a coach? Was there a rank advancement? Did you open the doors to the Team Cycle bonus opportunity by being an Emerald coach? Were you able to you're like setting your goal for signing up 8 new coaches into your organization? You just opened the doors to business. There are so many things that you can talk about, but it starts with gratitude. So once you have those basic ideas down, then you can start developing all of the subtopics that you can then talk about with coaching. All right, go ahead to the next slide. So what's it gonna take? So we're going back to that negative idea of just breaking those beliefs that you have. If you are stuck, right? If you are like, Katie, it's just so hard. Listen, I do hard things. This is not hard. This is not hard. This is you saying, like, putting out your hand and saying, like, hi, my name is Megan, and I have an amazing opportunity. And even though my armpits are sweating and you might say no to me, I want you to know that I would love to have you be a part of my team. That is not hard. That is not hard. This is belief. This is belief. This is all it is for you to say, all right, I'm going to take action. I am going to take action. And when you don't take action, pick up your book, your personal development book, whatever it might be. I don't know if you're reading your Rachel Hollis, but I highly suggest also reading personal development about sales too. So like The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes is a really great one. Kind of boring, but really good. So I suggest picking up a personal development book, getting yourself in this mojo of like Tony Robbins pumping the air, like getting yourself pumped up, and you take action. You actually have to invite. A post is great. It's very inviting, but it is not the invitation. Nobody said, Katie Ersta, you want to join my team? But guess what? Somebody like Katie Ersta is waiting for an invitation because Katie Ersta wanted a free t-shirt, okay? So when it comes to free things, Katie's signing up. So you have to know that you have to start taking action. Your post might be great, but it just might be a doorway for them to be looking at other things. If you want your eyes on you, you have got to let people know that you want them in your organization. You have to take action. And the very first thing that you need to do to take action is pick up a personal development book. Get in a good frame of mind, write your blessings down, and then get to work. All right, that's the first step. That's how we break belief consistently, is feeding our mindset with positive things. Like, I'm not kidding you. It just changes your mojo, changes all of it. I lost my screen. I don't know what I'm saying next.
I guess, did I freeze? You froze, but was that me?
Freeze. That wasn't me.
That was all me. Sorry about that. Let me get that back.
Now you killed my mojo, so I need to go read a book.
Go read a book.
Breaking beliefs. Did it. Next.
That was next. Sorry. All right. And you're on.
Okay, so let's talk about goals for a couple minutes, because let's just pretend today is like July 1st. I don't even know what today's date is. What is it? Like, it's July 22nd, but like, what if we pretend that today is like July 1st? Like, we don't even worry about the fact that there's 8 days left in the month. We're like, oh, we totally got this, right? So let's set a goal. So first, I want you to identify where you want to end the month. Okay, so end of the month. If you want to be like a hobby coach who's kind of like, I like to do the hokey pokey, I kind of want to retail a little bit, want to sell a couple things, let my people like see that there's a discount. Or are you like, I want to be a working coach. Like, I really want to be a working coach. Like, I want to build a team. I want to start actually creating more income. I want to start seeing volume underneath me. Or are you like, shiz, I want to start an organization. Like, I want a team of a team of a team. And I want to know that when it's payday, I won't even know it's payday, because payday just happens, because that really can happen in this business. So here's the deal. If you had to work, like you were setting a definition for yourself, like your goal, this month am going to be a organizational coach, a working coach, or a hobby coach. Where do you want to be? And if you say, if you're like, man, it would be really cool to build a successful Beachbody business. I would really love to walk across the stage as a 10-star. I would really love to be a star diamond coach. And you're sitting here telling me that you want to be a hobby coach with 1 to 2 coaches a month. Guess what? That is fear. That is you being afraid that you might not be able to hit that goal. But what if, hold up, like what if you're like, I actually really want to nail this business. Like, I really want to be able to retire my husband. I really want to be able to leave my freaking job. I really want to be able to do this. And you were bold with yourself and honest with yourself, and it scared the crap out of you to say it. Like, it gave you butterflies in your stomach to actually admit it out loud. Guess what? The only way you're going to get there is by becoming an organizational coach. And the only way you become an organizational coach, if you start taking action, like small, daily, seemingly insignificant steps every day to be able to get one step closer to where you want to go. And no one's going to say this is what you need to be, because it's your goals. It's what you want to be able to do it. It's what you want to be able to achieve. And here's the deal. Like, I get, like, as a starting coach, my mind could not wrap around the potential of this business. Like, my head didn't grasp it. But then when I started to see people like Megan Blinka, or people like Melanie Mitro, or people like Katie Ersta sitting here saying, oh yeah, you can make a good substantial income doing this. What are they doing? I'm telling you right now, they're building a team of people. They're building a team. So they're building a team of people. So they're building a business that's based on residual income. But you'll also notice they're still building a business based on the products and the program. So we are still producing volume. We are still rooted in the basics, but there is also an organization of coaches. And how do we start that? By letting people know that we're open for a business. Are we letting people know that we're open for a business? Or are we kind of hiding behind the product? It's just a gut check question. Go ahead and go to the next screen. So what can we do, right? So we post, okay? We post about it. We talk about the coaching opportunity, and we're going to have a challenge at the end of this. But there's more that we can do. We have challenge groups. If you have clients and customers in your challenge groups and they're rocking, like they're doing an amazing job, private messages. Do a post in your group and talk about the discount opportunity. People like Katie Ersta, she really loves getting things at discounted prices. If I had been given the opportunity to get a discount on my product from the beginning, I would have signed up as that, because I enjoy 25% off of everything in life. Private invitations, public posts. Your public posts, they are very much geared towards your challengers who are doing amazing in their programs. They're looking at your grid. They're looking at your timeline. They're looking at your posts, and they're probably really supportive. And in the back of their minds thinking, is this just for her? Like, because if we're not letting them know we're open for business, they probably don't even know that you can mentor them too. So your challenge groups, don't forget that you have clients there who could probably rock at it. Honestly, if you have a challenger who's rocking in a challenge group, they have the potential to rock in the business. They're very parallel. The behaviors of it are very, very parallel. So if you have somebody who's really good as a challenger, make sure you're inviting them. I'll give you an example. Kirsten Banks, she just signed up as a coach earlier, like I think 2 weeks ago. She has been with me as a challenger, no interest in coaching for, I want to say close to a year. And then her friend, Jen, who was a client of mine as well, I said to both of them, you guys would be amazing coaches. I think you should partner up and I think you should do this. And it was finally time, but it took close to a year. So I want you to understand that even if challengers aren't there yet, continually letting them know that it is open to them. 3 times a week, we're going to talk about this as the 7-day coach challenge, which we'll talk about. Share stories, speak to your person, promote a call to act, run Snoop groups or sneak peeks, do weekly live videos, letting people know that this is an option for them as well. Go ahead to the next one. All right, follow up with everybody who has been a part of your challenge group, who has maybe been in a sneak peek, who you have invited into a sneak peek call. And this is a great time too to let them know, just as Megan said at the beginning of the call, about those promo codes. Show them in your sneak peek that you want them to join. Give them the details. 2 of the things that I am using when Megan talks, I'm going to add them right in here. I use a video by Brooke Lipoff that I send to people that has general information. I also created a really quick, I think it's like a 7-page document that gives people the ins and outs of coaching. I share that with them if they want that information privately. I talk about what my coaches are doing. I share their wins. I share the new coach post announcements too. I do all of those things so people know that I'm open for business. Go ahead to the next one. And if they want info, like I said, and I'll share these in the chat bar with you guys. And you guys can make a copy of the Canva image too. And do a sneak peek call. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do things a little bit differently because I really wanna work that boldness. I wanna be a little bit more bold with coaching. So over the next 7 days, we're gonna create 7 posts. We're gonna create 1 post a day where we mention coaching in some way, or our job, or our gig. I don't care what you call it or what you put on it, but in some way, it has to be a reference to what you're doing. And how are you going to get that content? Well, if you're writing down the blessings and that web, you're going to have content for it. Here's where I want you to be a little bolder. Of those 7 posts, 3 of them need to be a direct call to action. And just so we're clear on what a call to action is, it isn't like a link and sign up here. A call to act is inviting them to do something, to get more information, to join a sneak peek group, to drop their email so you can add them to an email campaign, but it's very direct. And so although I am going to encourage you guys every day to do this in your stories as well, I want you to get into the habit of doing it on whatever platform you use. So you will see me using my Facebook business page, and I will be doing this on my Instagram grid. And it's fun because you get to be creative about it. But 3 of the 7 need to be a call to act in some way. Well, then what are the other 4? If I'm not calling them to directly act, what am I doing with the other 4? They're a call to think. So a call to think is just as powerful as your call to act. A call to think lets people know that you're doing this, that you're probably mentoring other people, that you're in some way loving what you're doing, or you're sharing your vision or whatever it might be, but it plants a seed. So even if you're not giving them the, hey, drop an emoji, learn more here, you're still getting them to do this, to think, to connect with you in some way. So at least 3 of them need to be a direct call to act. The other 4 or having them actually think. Megan, I don't know if yours was a call to act or a call to think yesterday, the one of you in the sports bra. Do you remember if that was a call to act or think? I didn't read the end of it.
I ended that. Actually, I think I put that one in here.
Okay.
That one I kind of talked about, like when people reach out to me, and at the bottom I put like basically a call to action for both. Like if you're interested in the fitness or the business.
Okay.
That's the thing.
And then mine today was a call to think. And I don't know if you used mine from today, but like she'll have examples of it too. So you want to start thinking of that call to act, call to think. And then use the web of ideas for your topics. And I'll screen share mine in the team page, and then Megan can share it in hers too, for like my blessings of the business too. And here's where I want you to put on the big girl britches. And that is to do a sneak peek. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not inviting you to mine. And I'm doing this with so much love in my heart, but I want them to see you. I want them to see how awesome you are. I want them to see how much you rock. So if you're like, oh my God, I can't do a sneak peek call, couple things. Megan and I both have like the slides for you. If you don't want to do it on your own, don't. Run it with someone. Partner up with someone. Start a thread in the team page and say, all right, I am looking to do a sneak peek. Decide on a date that you want to do it, but do it in a week. So know exactly what you want to have them invited to. The other option you have is to put them in a Snoop group, which is like a small informational group. But even if you do that, I want you to go live. I want you to talk about the business, or I want you to do that sneak peek call. You have to start being comfortable with being really uncomfortable. And so if my saying that made you uncomfortable, good. That means you want it. But that also means it's time to actually take action. And so I want you to not hide behind, and not that you're hiding, but don't let it be about like what Megan does or what Katie does, but own where you are, because people relate to you right now where you are. And the more that you do it, the easier it becomes. And guess what? The very first sneak peek call that I did had no one on it, not one person. And that right after that first time that I did it, I remember joining Melanie's like over and over and over again. And then I was like, this is stupid. Why am I not doing this? And I had to just like brush it off and start doing my own. So I do encourage you to either partner up with maybe someone that you're already working with as a success partner, or I do encourage you to reach out to someone who you would be interested in working with as a partner. But we have to start taking action. So Megan and I, over the next couple of days, will be giving tips, we'll be giving strategies for great sneak peeks, but set your date for it. About a week to 10 days out from now is when you should be doing it. You decide if you want to do it on lunch, do it in the evening. But the more you talk about it, the easier it's going to become. And at fair warning, if no one gets on, it is not that you suck. It is not that you're doing something wrong. It is that you have to keep pumping the well. That consistent action over time, over and over and over again. You have to keep beating that drum. Megan, is this you? I think the next one's you, right?
Yeah, and I can't tell you how many times I did business opportunity calls and nobody showed up, like tons of them. And it's a little defeating and embarrassing when you sit there and you talk to a screen and you like talk as if you're talking to other people and there's actually nobody there. But it's practice. And you can have a recording and you can send it out. And I would tell people, like, I'm so sorry you missed the call. Not sure if you got on last night, but here's the recording, and still send it out to people who are interested. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. But that Brooke Lipoff video, like if you're brand new and you're still like frightened beyond all means to do this, you can keep it super simple with like you talking about your story. Use that third party with Brooke's video that goes over, it's 10 minutes, goes over all the basics. And then, you know, you leverage the PDF document. I know I have one, I put it on my team page earlier, maybe Sunday, I don't know. But it kind of walks through kind of what the video walks through, the PDF walks through in a text form. So you don't have to have like 10 live videos that you're going to talk about all these things. You can hit on those things with like a video about you and why you're there so they can relate to you. Brooke's video that's going to explain it in words and voice so people can hear it. And then that PDF document that's going to walk you through it. Like, this is somebody who wants to read it. And it kind of gives you people who would want to learn into different ways.
That's a good idea.
A group that you keep open, and then you can continuously invite there. Yeah,
that's a really good idea. And I mean, we can even screenshot them ours, but if you even do like just the Brooke lip off video, if you give like a 5-minute section on your story and then you show the video too, like that is a great way to actually start doing a sneak peek too. You could totally take that, and that way you don't have to worry about like getting it right, or if like the technology piece of it and everything. But it's good to be a little bit uncomfortable. That's how you grow. That's how you get better at this.
Yeah, and then this image here, I know that it's been shared time and time again. It's in both of our team pages. If you searched for like 22 days of coaching posts, we'll repost like all of the resources that we're mentioning tonight in one post for you guys. But this just is kind of along the same idea of Katie's web that she talked about. And I was trying to find mine. I couldn't find it quickly. I've done that. I've done the web, and it's super helpful to just sit down and just dump it and think about all the things. And when you're in that mindset of like, what has changed because of this, you realize there's so much more than like you initially think. You start writing and you come up with so many different ways to share it. And I think that's the important thing. People are like, well, I don't want to talk about income. And how many times can I say that I'm a coach, like without sounding repetitive? So what this here is just a way to show you different ways to talk about it that maybe you're not already thinking about it. And there's this one, and then I think we have another one. It's like 28 days of coaching posts or something. There's another little reference I've seen before too. So I guess
this is the one. I have this one too. And so I actually, do you see how like I still go back to, it's the same one that you have. But yeah, it's just a different way of like thinking about what kind of content's put out there. It's really good.
So just to give you guys some examples, because I think it can be overwhelming, like I said, when someone's like, you're going to talk about coaching for 7 days, because you don't want to say the same thing over and over. And how can you talk about different things? And, you know, different people have been in at different lengths. So I tried to pull different examples to show you different talking points and give you some ideas. We can even drop the PDF of this Canva thing in there for you guys to see these in more detail. But this one was from Whitney, and she starts it with a story. So if you read that first line, I walked out of Target in tears. I maxed out one of my credit cards buying baby formula and diapers. Like, there's moms out there who are going to read that and totally relate to it. And then she goes on to talk more about her story and how she made a decision and how she put in the work. And then this is what came of it. And I actually, at the income disclaimer, I'll just say it. I can't remember if it was on it, but I was screenshotting it. When I put this together, I was like, I needed to screenshot the income disclaimer. I feel like it was actually on there. But just so when you are talking about income, yes, you have to put it out there because this is our job and we want to protect ourselves. But talking about income in a way that shares a story gives people, it's not flashy, it is relatable. And it's a way for people to understand. And this post was actually longer than this. I just didn't put the whole thing on here. So start thinking about it. You know, what was the one thing that maybe you used your first paycheck for? Like, off the top of my head, like, I remember intentionally putting money aside for this. I paid off my student loans. It was a couple months into the business. That was the first purposeful thing that I did with my income. And I still remember I made a post about it. And the babysitter we had at the time said, "You get paid for what you do?" She had no idea. And she was a challenger of mine. She was a challenger, was babysitting my kids my 1 day a week when I would work for 2 hours. And she's like, "You make money doing that? I just thought you ran those challenge groups because." And I was like, clearly I'm not doing a good enough job showcasing the fact that this is a business, because she had no idea that it was actually providing income for me. So you never know like what's going to relate to somebody, but that was a post that, you know, was super relatable, talking about student loans. And it also was an eye-opener to me because apparently I wasn't consistent enough prior to for people to know that you actually have an income. So if you're not already, like if you're newer and you just got started, be very intentional with your paycheck. If it's your first $50 paycheck and you buy your kids diapers, or you take your husband on a date night, or you go get a pedicure, that was me, or, you know, you're covering the cost of Shakeology for a week or Shakeology for the month, whatever you're doing, know what it is, because then when you go to write a post about it, it's that much easier to do because you know where it's going. A lot of people will say, like, open a separate bank account so you know exactly where it is, where it's going, and then you can track it. Because I know if I hadn't been pulling money aside and was just paying bills, like if it's all lumped together, you don't necessarily know. And you want to be able to honestly say, like, this income, this side job is what paid for whatever. So wanted to share that example with you guys. This one here talks about impact. Obviously, it's a picture from Summit. This one was Janelle. And she shared just how, you know, her ripple effect of her starting rippled into her team, and, you know, talking about the impact she's made. And I think it's important, you know, again, this one doesn't talk about income, right? Like, this one has no mention that she's making an income doing this, but it's talking about the impact. And someone who maybe they have a good job, but maybe they're not fulfilled at what they're doing, or maybe, you know, they're a mom and they're not necessarily getting a lot of please and thank yous from their little kids, or a lot of gratitude for what they're doing, knowing that they can change someone else's life in this way with the impact of the business can really help. And she actually, the call to action here is for a boot camp, but she's talking about the impact she's made through what she does as a coach. So it's not this would kind of be like when you're talking about those 3 of 7, this one isn't come learn what I do as a coach, but this one is opening your eyes to what she's doing as a coach and kind of what else it entails. So a little bit different, not your call to action, really just making you think that it's call to action for boot camp. But from a coaching aspect, it's sharing how what she's doing is making that impact. Along those same lines, community, I think it's really, this is probably the most fun one to talk about. I know that, you know, I worked in an all male, primarily male field. So at my job, I wasn't surrounded with other women, and I thought most women were catty and bitchy if there's any kids around, but like I didn't like other girls. So I will often make posts about how I didn't know, like, you could make friendships in your 30s. Like, I didn't know that that was a possible thing. I thought you just had your friends from work, your play date friends, and then like high school. Like, I didn't know you could build those relationships. Thought Missy's post was good. It was simple. It wasn't talking about a direct, like, you don't see the word coach in here, but she's talking about the girl she's with. And at the end, she says, why wouldn't you want to be a part of this? And you could really play along with hashtags. Keep in mind, on Facebook, hashtags don't really mean anything. I know if you're posting from Instagram to Facebook, your hashtags are going to show up. But when I'm using hashtags on Facebook, I like them to, like, be purposeful in the sense that you're reading that hashtag and kind of getting it, which I don't know if this came from Instagram or not, but you can read hers. Find your tribe, love them hard, soul sisters, my vibe, my tribe, better together. So she's talking about the community. So this would be another, not a direct call to action, but this is getting you like, oh my gosh, like, to that person who's sitting there thinking, I don't have close girlfriends, I don't have that community, I don't have other women who are going to cheer me on. This would be something super appealing to that type of person. So we have income, we have impact, we have community. This one was Steph Miller, and I had to cut her name off to fit it all on one thing. But this is a great spin for the Succeed Together thing that's happening this weekend. So, you know, Beachbody's putting a huge pull on this coaching event this weekend. This is a Super Saturday like nothing else. This is a way for us to literally showcase the opportunity to people who just want to learn more. So she used this as a way to talk about the open house, the coach open house in Pittsburgh. She's coming here in Pittsburgh. So Carl Deichler will be here. So I love the way she worded it. The picture she used was actually the boomerang from when we took our picture the last night of Summit. But in this instance, there's an Eventbrite link. You could have taken the Eventbrite link and been like, getting together with my girls this Friday night. Who wants to come learn more about coaching? Here's the link. But that would not have been as appealing as a picture. So the picture was with a video. The video was fun. It shows that you can see a community by looking at it, but she's inviting you here with free admission to go to the event in Pittsburgh. So I really liked this one. Plug for Super Saturday events in general. If you're not going, go to them. It's not at all convenient for me. I'm actually spending this whole week driving to and from Cranberry to take my kids to hockey camp. And actually, unfortunately, we'll probably have 2 funerals to attend this week. That clearly just popped up today. Not exactly ideal. I leave for our 10-year anniversary on Sunday morning. I have a family reunion on Saturday in Punxsutawney, and I'm all over the place. I will be at this event on Friday night. Because I have people who I've invited to go there with, oh, my kid has deck hockey game, I think, too. I'll be there because I know events matter. They matter for me. They matter for my team. And it helps share the other aspects for people who maybe they don't get out very often. The idea of an event in Pittsburgh on Friday night would be super appealing to them. If you're not in Pittsburgh, find the closest one to you. It's in the back office in your coach online office. But go, invite a friend. I went out and reached out to people local to me. I told myself, I'm going to invite anyone local who I've talked to. And if nobody says yes, I will duck out of going. And I got 2 people to say yes. So clearly I'm going anyways. I would have went anyways. I can never say no. But love the spin on this. So great post by Stephanie. Call to action on this one. And this one's focused on the event. And then this one was super simple. I must have had a pop. Oh, I don't know. I think I added that from another screen and it clearly ended up on this one. Anyways, this one is Elisa's. She's on vacation right now. And it was a very simple, all because I said yes. So if you follow her long enough, you know what she does. She's consistent enough in showing what she's doing as a coach. And she's talking about the family freedom. Obviously someone who never was, isn't familiar with her and isn't following her regularly may not know this, but she talks about it blows my mind the impact one simple decision made. So to me, that's a curiosity sparker. And she's talking about the freedom that the business has enabled her without actually saying it. Like this one's more of a like read between the lines type of post. And then this one here, this was from at Summit, and I shared a little story because random fact, I was on a billboard my senior year of college. So I talked about, here I am, for those of you who can't see me, clearly that's me on top of that pyramid there. But this was at Summit, and I actually had no idea that I was even on it. I took this picture on Tuesday night of Summit, and on Thursday, a girl from my team was like, you're on the billboard. And I was like, what billboard? She's like, the billboard of like the Beachbody billboard. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. So I showed her the picture on my phone, and she was like, right there. I was like, son of a gun, that is me. So anyways, tangent, where I go. But I shared a little story about not being on a billboard or being on a billboard before. And then I talked about, you belong here. And then I went on to just talk about some objections, like to the people who saying, I'm afraid to start because I'm not like you. I'm not like her. My social media isn't good enough. I'm not at my goal weight. And this just hits on the fact that a lot of people probably are thinking those same things. So I kind of called out those objections and played off of the theme of you belong here. And I love having a Facebook holding group where I invite people to learn more about coaching, because I just take that Facebook group, and it works on Facebook super easy, because I'll just do, I'll throw that link, like that Facebook link in the comments to like any post that talks about coaching. And people are so quick to request to join because they're curious or they're nosy. But anyways, they'll request to join. On Instagram, I usually will hashtag link in bio, or I'll put like in the middle of my little paragraph, I might put a parenthesis link in bio with like an arrow or an emoji or something to break it up. But I find that when you're using Facebook and you have a sneak peek group, an info group, a snoop group where you have some information, when you mention the word coaching in a post, throw that group link up there. And it just gives people who are curious a way to click to learn more. So that was the end of the stories. Before we go on here, just understand that writing the posts might take time. I have people who say to me all the time, I can't write like you can. Well, you know what? I can't write like Katie Ersta either. Like, not everyone is going to write the same way, and that is okay. I promise the more that you do it, the easier that it becomes. My mom will tell me all the time, she's like, your writing has improved so much over 5 years. I've been doing it multiple times a day for 5 years straight. So like, I'm glad that it improved. Like, I would hope after doing something every single day, day in and day out, that it's improved. But know wherever you are, if you're frustrated thinking my posts don't sound like hers, that it's going to take time, and it comes from the experience. Most of my posts are experiences. They're conversations. They're things people have said. They're things people have done. They're things people have shown me. They're things that have happened in my challenge groups. They're things that my coaches have experienced. And until you go through those and grow, your story base might be a little bit smaller. So use that little guide to start jogging your memory to think of what else you can talk about. And I promise there's more in there than you probably think that there is.
All right, so let's close it out. This is what we're doing this week. So our focus is our 7-day recruitment challenge. So we're talking about 7 days of coaching. 3 of those days are going to have a direct call to action, while 4 of those are going to be a call to think in some way. Be creative with it. They don't all have to say, I am a coach. Look at me. Wee! Like, you can have fun with it. But in some way, it should be about a blessing, or countering an objection, or sharing, the physical, the emotional, the financial, or your vision for what your business is becoming. Second, you want to set your sneak peek up and set a date and a time that you are going to do that call. I don't care if it's a full-blown, 45-minute call, or you're like, here's 5 minutes of me sharing my story and the 8-minute video that Brooke Lipoff did. That is totally fine, but set your date to it and stick to it. And if no one gets on the call, practice, talk to yourself, and it will be totally fine. And invite your current clients to join you. Make sure that invitation goes out to them first, because they're the ones that already know how amazing you already are as a coach. You might as well invite them to the opportunity to mentor them in a partnership with doing this business alongside of you. You guys, I want you to know that the sky is the limit with this business. The potential of this business still blows my mind. And so I want every single one of you to understand that the only thing that might be separating you from even where I am now is time and possibly consistency. So just remember that if you want people to see and to join your team, that approach to recruiting has to be one of, I get to do this. I get to give this to someone. Can you imagine being the person that recruited someone like Katie who lost her medical bills before, or lost her medical insurance before cancer? Like this, somebody gifted this to me. You have the opportunity to gift this to someone else. So you have to just recall that. Just keep saying, I get to put this out there. How can I not be grateful? How can I not be grateful for that? All right, guys, that's all I got. I'm sorry that we went a little bit over. I'm so proud of you. I'm just really honored and excited to be a part of this with you and rooting for you, and can't wait to see all the posts. And if you guys have questions or you want some feedback before you post it out there, that is what your mentors are here for. Let us help you. Let us support you. But you've got this. Totally got this. And if you're uncomfortable, good. I'm so glad. So glad.
And just, when you post, drop your post in the team page, or sort of thread with them. And I know, one thing that annoys me really bad is if, Katie was like, I'm looking for 5 women to join my team, and I'm going to try to boost her thing up. I'm going to be like, I'm in, because I'm not in, because I'm actually already a coach. So don't comment on other people's posts, sign me up for your group, or, clearly, we're already coaches. But root for them. Cheer them on. I love your picture. Well said. Great post. You can still encourage them on their post without falsely saying I'm taking one of 5 spots. Just that drives me nuts. So, but use take your post, share it into the team pages, and then we can cheer for each other and we can support you. And then it might help. You might read it and it might spark someone else's idea of what happened with them, for them to be able to be if you're telling a story, someone might read your story and be like, oh my gosh, I have a story like that. And you can write your own story, and it can really just help keep it going. And I know that when I've been the most successful at this, it's been when there's been a group of people who are for 7 days, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
For 7 days, we're talking about coaching. There's no looking back. We're not skipping a day. Even when it feels like we've said it enough, we're going to say it again, and we're going to talk about it for 7 days. And if it may seem harder, or if you might feel uncomfortable in the beginning, when you get to the end, you'll realize that people had to see it 5 or 6 or 7 days in a row before they're going to come to you and be like, okay, I'm curious now and I want to learn more.
You got promo codes too, so you've got that going on.
Yeah, through the 31st.
Okay, cool. All right, and I love that Michelle was like, I can do sweaty pit armpit invites. That cracked me up. All right, you guys. So looking forward to the post. You'll see a post in the team page too. I know KB, we have a winner for the morning meltdown. I'll announce that tomorrow. And that's all I got. You good, Megan?
I'm good.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Good night.
Yeah.